Hello, my name is Lisa Bush, and today we're going to take a look at a demonstration of the asyst cash receipts application. And the cash receipts module is under the dollar sign. And this module is designed to allow you to collect things at the counter. So it gives you that point of sale capability. So I'll go ahead and click on cash receipts and we'll take a look at it. The first thing that you might want to do is let's take a look at where you would take in your payments. This gives you the ability to receipt for any transactions. So your utility billing payments, your tax billing, an invoice you've sent, even a miscellaneous thing that probably today you're handwriting a receipt. This gives you the ability to set up those revenue codes so that you can receipt for those miscellaneous things and the system will create the journal entry for you. So let's take a look. Probably a common scenario is somebody walks in and they want to pay their utility bill. So I'm going to go ahead and do a search because the customer, if they don't know their account number, you can search and look it up. And this is going to take you to the search and utility billing. So if you know their first name, their last name, a phone number, or any combination, you can look that person up. So you can very quickly look up that person and find the balance. And we'll go ahead and bring in the balance for ACE office supply. So if this is the correct customer, you're going to say, okay. It's going to bring in the amount that's due. You do have the ability if you want to do a partial payment, or if in this scenario, let's say they're paying the entire amount, I would simply just accept it. Now I can go ahead and receipt and take the payment, but I can also add on to this receipt. So as an example, let's say this particular customer, they want to receipt for some other option that you have. So we'll go ahead and look at the different options that we have. And this is a list of items that you define. As an example, maybe a permit, copies, donations, any type of miscellaneous thing that currently today you might be handwriting a receipt. This gives you the ability to go ahead and receipt for it all at the same time. And if I accept that, it's going to do a running total. So once again, I've got the ability to do multiple transactions. We're going to handle the money once. So when I am ready to take the payment, I go ahead and do payment. And this gives me the ability to, I can do check and cash. It can make receipt. It's going to print a receipt. But the nice thing is you handle the money once. So at the end of the day, we're going to post the utility transactions to the utility application. We'll create journal entries for the miscellaneous things, so you're finished. You're not going to have to take the money and then go update those other applications. So you handle the money once. One other feature I want to show you, if you start using multiple applications, maybe our tax billing, utilities, AR, we're going to give you the ability to search by name and actually bring in all the balances. So here's an example where somebody walks in and maybe they've got one check and they want you to look at all their balances. We have the ability to search by name, and it's going to search across the applications and it's going to look at all the balances for that person. So in this scenario, this particular customer has 7 different tax accounts. They could have 7 tax accounts, 3 utilities, and maybe an invoice, and we're going to be able to see all of those. Now you do have the ability to pick and choose which transaction you want to go ahead and receipt for, or you can select all. But we do have that ability to bring in all the balances by name as you start using some of those other products that use the master directory application. So let's go ahead and back out and look at some other things that you might do under cash receipts. End of the day, so we do have a process that there's a report that you'll run at the end of the day to, count the drawer to make sure everything's correct before you do post. Once you post, we're going to send the utility payments to the utility application. We'll send the tax billing to the tax billing, the courts to the courts, the invoices to AR, and then at the same time, we'll create journal entries for those miscellaneous transactions. What I want to do really quickly is just jump over to the GL really quick to give you an idea of what it's going to look like for those miscellaneous things if you decide to post in detail. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick search here, and we'll bring in maybe a miscellaneous license, or yeah, we'll do a business license and we'll take a look at that. So here's an example. You could obviously run reports, but if I want to see detail, I can drill down, and these are miscellaneous transactions that were receipted at the counter where we create that journal entry, but you do have the ability to drill down further and actually see the journal that we create. And if you do post in detail, you've got the detail of who paid and how they paid. So once again, you've got that detail posting into the general ledger. So no more handwritten receipts, no more journal entries. You handle the money once. So let's jump back to cash receipts and we'll take a look at some other reports that we have available. Let's see here. Cash receipts, here it is. So once again, we've got that periodic process. If you need to make a modification to a payment before you post, you've got the ability. We have some clients up in Canada that actually do post-dated checks. We do have a process where you can key those in ahead of time, and then they'll recognize those checks on the appropriate date. So that would be under periodic. Under reports, this is where you might want to look at this transaction detail report. And this is a report that you can run for, any date range. You can do it for a specific type of transaction. Or in this example, we'll go ahead and just say, show me everything that you receipted. And I want you to sort it by check, cash, credit card, money order, those different types of receipts. Now, I could have selected one day 10 years ago, so I can go to a specific date, but this is going to give you a report of all that detail that you receipted. And down at the bottom, you're going to get subtotals. In this scenario, I'm subtotaling by check and cash and credit card. But at the very bottom of the report, you can see the totals that are going to what I would call the different subledgers, utilities, courts, tax billing. This cash receipt here will be those journal entries that you recorded for the business license, so that you can go and take a look at that as well. So great report for your auditor. You're going to be able to run this for the entire fiscal year, any date range, or any specific date to see what you receipted, and lots of ways you can sort that. So if you want to see just utility payments or just court payments, you're able to do that as well. So that would be one of the reports. We've also got some different inquiries. Here's one, it's the receipt transaction inquiry, where let's say you get a call from one of your constituents, or they walk into City Hall and they need to get a reprint of a receipt that you created for them. So I've got lots of ways to look it up. Do I know their name? Do I know the date? Even the check number, dollar amount. So lots of ways to search. Once I find the transaction, I can actually reprint that receipt, and it says reprint on the receipt. So we'll go ahead and grab one here. And like I said, if I print this, it will say reprint. So it's very easy to go back in time and get a reprint of a receipt. If you're currently keeping those and filing them, I can reprint those at any time. And then here's this other inquiry that we can search, and I could do it by date, by method, by type, and even by cash drawer, and get a listing of transactions. I could look it up by type, by name as well, or I could go to a specific date and get all that detail. Now, tables, there are just a few tables that you'll have here. Probably the most important one is those miscellaneous types. This is where you define, what do you want to call it? Is there a default dollar amount? And then the accounting, so we know what journal entry to create. So you can keep adding to this. You can have default dollar amounts. You might have some that are always different depending on, maybe it's a calculated type miscellaneous receipt, but a table that you can easily add so that you're not going to have any more handwritten receipts. So as I mentioned, kind of going back to the beginning, this is a centralized cash collection. It essentially turns your PC into a cash register. We do have the ability to attach little receipt printers if you want that small receipt tape. You could use, regular, 8.5 by 11 or the small receipts. We've also got hardware like a cash drawer that you can plug into your computer. So it really is turning your computer into a cash register to give you the ability to handle that transaction once. So thank you for your time today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out if you'd like to learn more about cash receipts. Thank you.